Christopher Columbus again. So he deliberately is doing things to black people that isn't just political. And any black man that does it is going to obviously catch some level of heat. When a black person does it, I can when it's a black person, I can always tell what kind of black person. I can always tell.
Been done. I don't know. He bumped his head or something, but he has lost his mind, and it's a shame that he has to go down the path of racism. You know, I've met Donald Trump several times. I've been to the White House several times. Actually, Donald Trump met my dad at a UFC fight not too long ago, and my dad didn't even vote for Trump. So Donald Trump isn't what they're projecting him to be, but also the racism that exists amongst black people.
So lately, comedian D.L. Hughley had enough of holding his tongue and went straight for Officer Brandon Tatum. Yeah, that Tatum, the ex-cop turned conservative influencer who's made a name for himself saying things that make a lot of black folks roll their eyes hard. But this time, D.L. didn't just call him out for being controversial, he went deep. According to D.L., Tatum isn't pushing those wild takes because he's telling the truth. Nope. He basically hinted that Tatum's out here purposely pushing messages that hurt the black community.
At this point, we would have been growing faster than white people. But at some point, we bought into the propaganda of not pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, not marrying the women that we have children with, not exploring economic success and having a community of growth and money circulation. And we divvied all that away. And I believe the civil rights movement. No one in America, unless they're completely ignorant, would argue that Chicago isn't a problem. And
because
it's
a
not
big ass problem. Because it's a big damn problem. Ain't no question about it.
It's the inner cities where our people live that we see 70 shootings over the week. Like, that's too much, man. And Stephen A., it's not even just that. It's not just the shootings, bro. It's the school system.
And allegedly, he's getting paid to do it. Getting paid to tear down his own people. If that's real, that's not just shady. That's downright dirty business. Now hold up. Let's rewind for a second. Officer Tatum's whole brand is built on downplaying racism, defending cops no matter what, and clowning black culture every chance he gets. And since those hot takes always go viral, people been asking for years, is this dude being real or just cashing in on controversy? And once DL dropped that bomb, oh, the internet went crazy. The conversation shifted from is Tatum wrong to is he a sellout for hire? The streets of social media lit up with debates, receipts, and theories flying left and right. And guess what? It's only getting wilder from here.
This man said it. I say it all the time, and I'm going to continue to say it.
Everybody want to scream support black businesses, but will run to Gucci before you ever spend $1 with your own people while looking for a hookup at the same time. We want to whine about gentrification, but won't invest in your own community. Instead,
there you go.
Trash it. And then cries when somebody else moves in and builds it.
America is the only place.
They proportionately.
Who is they?
Everybody else, man.
Everybody else, like who? Are you saying white people? Brother, you in the same situation as all these white people, and you playing the victim.
Am I?
You at the same university?
Am I? What does the same university have to do with anything?
So before we jump into the chaos, let's break down who this man really is. Because trust me, Officer Tatum didn't just appear out of thin air. Officer Brandon Tatum wasn't always this internet personality. He used to be a real cop out in Arizona. Yep, badge, uniform, patrol car, the whole thing. For years, that badge was his whole identity. But once he jumped into the social media game, he found a brand new hustle, becoming the straight-talking black conservative who says everything Fox News wishes it could say out loud in one viral clip. He built his fame off being the guy who tells it like it is. But let's be honest, the way he tells it usually means defending cops, no matter how bad the situation looks, and brushing off racism like it's all made up. And of course, he loves to throw shade at black culture, talking about music, fatherlessness, and crime like those are the only problems worth mentioning. Wild, right? And the craziest part, it works. His clips pull in millions of views. He's sitting on over 2 million YouTube subscribers, got a podcast, booked up speaking gigs, even published books.
But there's a lot of that goes on in the black community. Physical abuse, sexual, emotional abuse, the single mother epidemic that's in the black community. These are the things that politicians should be saying, we need to get a handle on this. We need money for resources for fathers. The bottom line is that if you study, you work hard, you play the cards that you're dealt properly, you will be successful. This country makes more millionaires than anywhere in the world.
All built on being the voice that certain people love hearing say what they can't. But here's where it gets sketchy. Why do all his takes sound like they were pre-approved by some conservative think tank before they ever hit YouTube? Like, come on, sir. That's not keeping it real. That's just remixing the same talking points that cable news hosts been cashing checks off for years. So yeah, that's Officer Tatum in a nutshell. An ex-cop turned influencer who built a brand off controversy. And now, D.L. Hughley's dirty money allegation, it hits way harder once you see the full picture. Now that we know who Officer Tatum is, let's break down what he actually says, because this is where things start getting spicy. Tatum's whole brand is built on stirring the pot. He's that guy who drops takes that instantly blow up the comment section, and 9 times out of 10, he's talking about black people. That's his bread and butter, no question about it. First up, his obsession with what he calls the victim mentality. He claims black folks spend too much time blaming racism and not enough time taking accountability. According to him, racism ain't even the biggest problem anymore. It's how we supposedly think about ourselves. Like, okay, bro, sure. Then he always brings up crime, but specifically black-on-black crime. Anytime people speak out about police brutality, here he comes saying, why aren't y'all protesting this instead? As if the two things cancel each other out. It's like he misses the whole point on purpose just to score clicks. And don't even get started on the fatherlessness talk. Tatum loves bringing that up like it's the only reason for poverty, crime, or struggle in the black community. He repeats it like a broken record.
No, I despise him, but if he did something
no kidding, you despise him. We hear it.
Him.
I know you do. Everyone hears you.
I despise him as much as he despises black people.
Let me say this. I think that if D.L. Hughley was in front of me and we had a debate, it would be the most embarrassing time of his life. He gets no pushback from the black community, none whatsoever. He's in an echo chamber. It's very simple. I would ask D.L. Hughley, what policy positions are you saying that Donald Trump has failed in, that the Democrats has prospered in? And this is what he will say to me. He will give me a talking point from CNN that's been debunked 20 years ago. He doesn't have substance. What I would add to DL is I would say, DL, do you really care about the black community, or are you living in an environment where you're worshiping your skin color? Because if you care about the black community versus worshiping a skin color, why are you not out here advocating for things that will help the black community?
Then, when it comes to hip-hop, he drags rappers for promoting violence, but completely ignores the industry machine making millions off those same songs. Hypocrisy much? And of course, his favorite go-to quote, success comes from hard work, not blaming the system. Basically, if you're not winning, he says it's your fault for not grinding hard enough. No mention of barriers, bias, or real life, just work harder. Let's be real. Why do all his arguments sound straight out of a conservative playbook? Like, sir, we've heard this script before. It always ends the same way. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, even when half of us were never given boots in the first place. And this right here is why D.L. Hughley's alleged call-out hit like a punch to the gut. Because if Officer Tatum's already making a living tearing down his own people with these hot takes, imagine if he's allegedly getting paid extra to keep doing it. That's not just controversy, that's calculated chaos. When DL started talking about Officer Tatum, he didn't paint him as just another guy with unpopular opinions. Nah, he made it sound way deeper, like Tatum's out here deliberately pushing messages that make black folks look bad, and someone might be sliding him checks to keep that energy going. Now, DL didn't pull out receipts or contracts with dollar signs on them, but the way he framed it, whew, the message was loud and clear. He basically implied Tatum's benefiting way too much from tearing his own people down for it to be coincidence. And honestly, that's not a wild theory. Think about it. Every viral rant Tatum drops ends up plastered across conservative media, boosting their narratives while padding his own brand. His face pops up on podcasts, speaking events, book tours, and don't forget, YouTube's paying him monthly for those millions of views. That's a whole business model built on controversy. So when DL hinted that maybe Tatum's doing this on purpose, it struck a nerve.
People die for the measles outbreak.
We just had somebody die in Texas.
One. They lied to you.
Can you let me talk?
Are you gonna get mad? You gonna throw the mic or something?
But you're here arguing that other people shouldn't do that.
No, I'm not telling you what to do. I just tell you what I think. Y'all can boost and boost and boost and boost and boost. You can get 45 boosters. I don't care. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Because it's what people have already been whispering for years. Is this dude really speaking his truth or just cashing in on division? Now, nobody's saying he's literally pocketing dirty checks. But come on, why does it always look like payday whenever he drags his own community? The timing, the platforms, the sponsors, it all lines up a little too perfectly. All right, let's really break this down. If D.L. Hughley's right, this whole situation ain't just about what Tatum says. It's about who profits every single time he opens his mouth. Here's where things start getting real suspicious. People are looking at how the platforms themselves reward chaos. The wilder the take, the more clicks it pulls in. YouTube, Facebook, podcast apps. They all run on attention, and attention means money. And guess who's cashing in big every time he calls racism fake news or says the police did nothing wrong? Yup, Officer Tatum. When controversy becomes content, it also becomes a paycheck. And then there's the whole conservative speaking circuit. Conferences, political rallies, podcast panels, you name it. Those events love booking a black voice that says exactly what they want to hear, so it looks balanced. And who's the first name on that invite list? You already know. Tatum. Every speech, every flight, every fancy hotel stay, that's all money straight into his pockets. And let's be honest, it's coming from saying things that make his own community look bad, but that's not even the end of it. Let's talk sponsorships and deals, because some of these brands and think tanks will gladly back anyone who matches their message. So when you see Tatum dropping merch or selling another truth-telling book, you gotta ask, is that all fan money? Or are bigger players cutting those checks behind the scenes? Because come on, it's getting way too convenient. Every viral rant, every partnership, every interview seems to hit right after he bashes his own people. Too many coincidences start to feel like a pattern. So what's really going on here? Is it all just luck? Or is there a whole system rewarding him for every time he drags his own community online? Either way, one thing's for sure. Officer Tatum wasn't about to sit back and let his name get dragged through the mud without clapping back. If there's one thing about Officer Tatum, it's that he lives for a clapback. Anytime someone, especially a heavy hitter like D.L. Hughley, calls him out for being harmful to his own community, he doesn't back down. He doubles up. His go-to line? I'm just telling the truth. That's his whole defense. Tatum always says his views come from experience. Years of working as a cop, seeing things firsthand. In his eyes, he's not bashing black people, he's just holding them accountable. But let's be real, that line's starting to sound more like a shield than an explanation. And when people accuse him of selling out, he flips it right back on them, saying things like, why do y'all want me to lie just to make you feel better? To him, being a so-called truth teller means standing against what he calls the liberal narrative. That's his brand now, the rebel with a mic. As for the money talk, he shrugs it off like it's nothing. Tatum swears every dollar he makes comes from his grind. He reminds folks that nobody handed him a media job. He built his own lane from scratch, and the money's just a reward for his hustle. In his words, it's proof of hard work, not a secret agenda, but here's where it gets sticky. Instead of calming the drama, his clapbacks usually crank it up even higher. Because instead of straight up answering if he's being pushed or paid to say certain things, he just doubles down on the same old talking points. Like take that event in Pittsburgh, Call Me American, hosted by Turning Point USA at the University of Pittsburgh. According to the Pitt News, Tatum stood in front of the crowd, shared his police background, and gave a whole speech about what it means to be a black conservative. Then he opened the floor for Q&A, and that's when things really got interesting. Sounds harmless, right? Just another campus talk? Except, not quite. Turning Point USA isn't some small student club. It's a major conservative organization with big-time donor money behind it. So when people see Officer Tatum headlining their events, they can't help but side-eye the situation like, who's cutting the check for that one? Because let's be honest, those appearances don't look like volunteer work. And it didn't stop there. In late 2023, he showed up at Wheaton College for another Turning Point USA event. Same setup, same energy. According to the Wheaton Record, Tatum went all in on culture war topics, immigration, gender roles, traditional values, and of course, his Christian faith. And just like clockwork, it was the same stuff that keeps his name trending online. Coincidence or consistency that pays? Then came UC Davis, and that one turned into a full-on circus. Tatum hosted a Prove Me Wrong event right in the campus quad, and things got heated. Protesters were pulling down tents, breaking camera gear, total chaos. But here's the kicker. The event still went on, and the moment it ended, boom. Fox News coverage, viral clips, national exposure, another conservative platform giving him the spotlight. You starting to see the pattern? Every microphone, every stage, every camera Tatum steps in front of seems tied to groups with deep pockets and clear agendas. It's almost like the outrage itself feeds the brand. So when D.L. Hughley's alleged call-out hit the air, the internet exploded. The reactions were ruthless. On one side, people were cheering D.L. on, saying, finally, Somebody said it. One person even commented, I can imagine what black people had to go through who dealt with Officer Tatum when he was still a cop. Like, just imagine that same energy he's got online, but in uniform. That thought alone had folks shook. That's a terrifying thought, and the internet wasn't holding back one bit. Another fan took it even deeper and brought up history. They wrote, he once asked why black folks spent 300 years in slavery. The answer is because people like Officer Tatum existed back then, always working for the masters and betraying their own. Whoo! That's not just shade, that's a straight-up accusation of betrayal, calling him the blueprint for selling out his people. And it didn't stop there. Another viewer flat out said, I can't stand him. He sits on his platform spewing anti-black rhetoric for praise and profit. And honestly, that's exactly the energy DL Hughley was hinting at, that it's not just about what Tatum says, but who's cheering him on every time he says it, because the applause always seems to come from the same crowd, and that says a lot. But of course, not everyone's against him. Some of Tatum's supporters rushed to defend him, saying DL's just jealous, or that Tatum's brave for speaking the truth nobody else wants to hear. So now you've got a full-blown divide, half the audience calling him a sellout, the other half calling him a truth-telling hero. And if DL Hughley's claim about that dirty money has even a hint of truth, then that means every laugh, every clap, every standing ovation Tatum gets on those stages might be bought and paid for. Not earned, but funded. That's not just controversy, that's betrayal, plain and simple. This story's got the internet buzzing, and it's far from over. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video, and make sure you subscribe. Because here at Public Secrets, we bring the truth raw, unfiltered, and louder than ever.